Spacey Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria. And we were investigating the animal house, um, house with all the animals, with air quotes around Holmes, um, us, Watson, so anyway, and we asked to spend the night. So now we're spending the night apparently. So yeah, hold on a second. Second I start games, we have to sneeze. That's how this works. Anyway, so here we go. I asked Madame Janet for her permission to use the telephone in the mansion's guest room. She granted that as well, and I promptly rung up Pendleton to inform him of my plans for the evening. Oh, good, because he's freaking out. I expressed the need to stay at the office after work was taking longer than I intended. I do hope he believes me. I admit to not paying close attention to what he said near the end of the call, but I suspect a lecture is waiting for me once I step through the front door. Was it all right to lie to him, Spacey? I should think I had no choice if we want to catch our criminal. It had to be done. Forgive me, Pendleton, but I'm just not ready to go home. Was a daring move on your part to contact the police as well. It'll be too late to contact them after something's happened. Finding the criminal isn't enough. We need to stop them from hurting anyone. You sound like Holmes now. More than you? I sound more like Watson, if you must know. Of course. I suppose I forgot to keep up the show once we were alone. This is why it's the, so this is not a Sherlock Holmes chapter, this is a Watson chapter. Is any of this making you feel anxious? You sound chipper, but you don't look it in the slightest. Are you suggesting you aren't? Not one bit. I'm very anxious. I thought so. Still, you said something that made me realize that I could never turn my back on this case. We won't stop till it's solved. Not least for the madam's safety. Our determination was renewed so wondrously that even with the day having been an eventful one thus far, we had the spirit to furnish out inquiries with answers. Furnish our inquiries with answers. Okay. Our mystery truly began when Madame Jet's husband passed away from a heart attack. Shortly thereafter, Lot was attacked by the late Master Swamp Adder. Yeah, it was Sophia and the son because, just saying. You can't trust anyone, especially if you're friends with. Stop it! You're gonna chew the button off my thing, and I'm gonna be mad at you. It's with Grandpa's flannel. You can't chew the buttons off, jerk. We later learned it wasn't an attack at random, but a result of Lot protecting the madam. She said nothing of the incident to her son to avoid worrying him. An important detail. Another one being the snake was recently robbed of its fangs. We don't know why the thief committed the act. Lot raised a viable possibility with the money one can pocket from a swamp adder's venom, but we lack evidence to support this. One thing we can be certain of, it is unlikely anyone could steal the snake's fangs without sustaining some manner of injury. I nodded fervently. I agreed with his assessment on all counts. We also cannot dismiss Ash's illness. Her symptoms included several severe headaches, stomach pains, and nausea, and she is one of two people who cleaned the late master's study. The other being Madame Janet, who shares her exact symptoms. And they both claim their symptoms worsen on days after it rains also. Oh, it's more than claim. We both know there's something suspicious going on in that room. It does stand out when it's the only room with color. Might the wallpaper be related somehow? Like whatever the glue they use for the wallpaper? Could it? Wait, I think I've got something. There are indeed emerald green paints which contain a toxin. That may well be our culprit. I see. And our suspicions migrate more toward... we must also account for the affair with the staircase. It was Sophia who assisted her then, and Lot protected her from the swamp adder. If one of her servants were targeting her, would they go out of their way to help her when she was in need? True enough. The facts as we know it are stranger still. Madame Janet described the culprit's musculature to be that of a man's. You remember, it is completely at odds with Sophia's testimony in which she recalls a slender woman. If the difference was slight, I would think nothing of it. Not here. Could one of them have lied? There's a chance, I suppose. Another thing that strikes me is how there's been no evidence of a break-in over the course of our inspection. Nothing was amiss in the study outside of the wallpaper. And recall, of course, that only those within the mansion have access to the stable.
But who amongst those with access would target her?
Watson hung his head in his hands, thinking, racking his brain over our present conundrum.
One of the servants has an obvious motive. None of them relate to the inheritance issue.
Sophia does.
The one who does is Ted. Wouldn't he have the most to gain? He's next in line to claim the family fortune.
If it's a matter of the inheritance, then he would, yes. But he's been absent for half a year. Or has he? What if the culprit is connected to him? Listen, Watson. Though there was some hesitation lurking, I opened my mouth to speak. I have an idea. Will you hear it?
What do you have in mind?
He would listen to you. Holmes would be like, I don't have time for your shenanigans and your stupid ideas. And then we'd be like, okay, so this is what I was going to do. That's actually brilliant, but I don't want to admit it. Like, you know what I mean? Later that evening, Lott informed Watson and I that dinner was ready to be served. Madame Janet was already seated in the dining room. Her plate was sitting before her, and waiting at both her sides were Sophia and Ash. It's an honor to have you join us. Ash, do set their plates. With pleasure.
Would you like for me to help? You've gone out of your way to let us stay, so it's the least I can do.
Oh, but we couldn't allow a guest to help. I don't remember the accent I gave her. Fuck. Oh well, whatever. We couldn't allow a guest to help, and that just won't do. Maybe I'll find it. I realized after I started saying, I'm like, fuck, we gave her an accent. I ain't gonna remember that.
Nonsense. We weren't invited the same as common guests. Barged in more like. Please.
You may wish to take a bit more care with the Madam Soup, or it shall... Oh, dear God.
Oops!
Holmes, you could stand to listen. I feel like this is fake.
I'm so sorry. This was meant to be for you, wasn't it? Let me take yours then. Please, madam, take mine.
Thank you, but I don't mind the first. Oh, Holmes, you must show better form in the future.
It truly was clumsy me. Suppose I was a bit too excited. The soup looks absolutely mouth-watering, you know. Can't wait to tuck in.
Don't! What is it, Sophia? Right when Watson placed the spoon to his lips, Sophia cried so sharply that it stopped all movement in the room. She is gonna poison the mistress, but she's not okay poisoning, like, a random person. What else? Because the thing is, she's slowly poisoning the mistress, right? Oh, unless she's gonna, like, whatever else she's doing isn't working, and the push it, and, like, so she's just gonna straight up kill her. Because I'm like, it seems like she's been slowly trying to make her ill. You know what I mean? It was her idea to paint the room. It was you know what I mean? But I'm guessing what we're going to find out is that she was straight up murder, not slow murder. Because otherwise it'd be like, oh, he's just not going to feel good and he'll be fine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say anything. If I were slowly poisoning someone and someone else ate their food, I'd be like, I wouldn't, like, incriminate myself. Like, wait, don't eat it, it's poisoned. Only if it was a straight up dose of poison that was going to kill her. That night. But slow poisoning? I wouldn't say anything. Like, look, Holmes/Watson, you're going to eat that and you might feel sick, but you'll be fine later when it works its way to your system.
Madam Janet over there, that bitch is going to die.
Like,
it's been building up in her,
like lead poisoning, slow, like whatever. Mineral poisoning, whatever. Whatever they did in CSI, they did that once. Anyway. There she stood, body trembling as one did from a fiercely cold draft, arms wrapped around her chest in self-embrace. Her eyes, meanwhile, were the only part of her that was steady. She focused with a horror-stricken expression at Watson's soup bowl.
Beg pardon, but would everyone here take a moment to indulge Miss Watson and I? And that includes you, Sophia. In the beginning, we thought the culprit behind the strange happening since the late master's death was someone from outside the mansion. But we thought wrong. It was, we concluded, the work of someone inside the mansion. Someone in this very room found it was to their benefit for you, madam, and your husband to be gone.
This someone motioned to commit the first of several crimes by murdering your husband under the guise of a mere heart attack. That can't be true. Madam Jacket. That's not even like I typed a K instead of an N. That's not even... I can understand Madam Janet. I typed the M instead of the N. How the fuck did you type a C and a K instead of an N? No one caught that. Wow. Tim. Anyway. Madam Janet gasped in disbelief. I'm sorry. Madam Jacket gasped in disbelief.
In the natural world and within reach of our culprit, there's just so happened to be a cardiotoxin to mimic the symptoms of a heart attack. What is that substance, you ask? The venom of a swamp adder. Then it had nothing to do with money.
Precisely. They were stolen for what they contain. A rare substance which is both poisonous and venomous.
It was known the master was an avid smoker, so they used this spac to lace his pipe with the toxin. He needed only adjust the smallest amount once he put the pipe to his mouth for the symptoms to make themselves known and cause his death.
Next, we have the matter of both Madam Janet and Ash experiencing health problems within the mansion's walls. It is a case when we were simply exhausted? Is it a case when we were simply exhausted? It is a case because neither of you were exhausted. That your symptoms were identical helped us discover the one other thing you had in common. You both have gone into the late master's study. Madam Janet goes in frequently, and you, Ash, once cleaned the day after it rained. How is the weather relevant?
As you're aware, the wallpaper in the study is emerald in color. The mansion happens to be rather old, so there are a number of places where water leaks and dampens the walls.
You should get that fixed.
The wallpaper of the study is a recent addition, however, and though water damage occurs in that room as much as anywhere else, it's no longer as apparent. In short, the moisture buildup is causing the wallpaper's pigment to be metabolized by mold, giving rise to arsene gas.
Then the room itself is dangerous.
Very much so, and it's why you haven't felt well since the death of your husband. The ones who selected the wallpaper were Lot and Sophia, correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's not the voice I gave him either, but whatever.
Let's narrow down our list of suspects to one of you. We first considered you were acting in cooperation, but dismissed it upon further investigation. That left us with only one person.
So Danganronpa. It was you! I love that.
You, Sophia!
Sophia? You think I'm the culprit? Sophia's voice was strained, her skin pulled back like yarn on the verge of unraveling. Why suspect me over Lot? He's far more... I know it's not the voice I gave her, I'm sorry. I had it down with her accent, but I don't remember the accent I gave her quite, so... You're aware of when Lot was attacked. I am. The only reason he was attacked at all was because he protected the madam. He did so whilst you were unaware that the swamp adder's fangs had been removed. You see, he was prepared to die if it meant her life would be spared. Now, why would he do such a thing if he meant her harm? The only answer is, he wouldn't. She is dear to him.
There's more to it than that, of course. You reported to us that the person who pushed Madam Janet was a slender woman.
This could not be further from the victim's own reports of having been pushed by a muscular man. There must be some sort of mistake.
Mistake? We aren't mistaken. A mistake would mean the madam's memory was faulty, but we've concluded the event as she tells it to be accurate.
I mean, you don't really know. You're lying to... Oh, that's him, not me. I got confused because I'm playing Watson, so I don't know.
You're lying to us, Sophia, in order to protect another.
This accusation startled her greatly. You know as well as we all do, Sophia, that the madam will be going to complete the inheritance proceedings tomorrow. Was that why Ted ordered you to use the swamp adder's toxin to kill her? Why do you... He may have left the mansion, but it's reasonable to think you would continue your relationship in secret. Your face when Holmes ate the meat pie Ted loved so much wasn't the face of someone thinking of a former lover. If he were to position himself? Wait. If we were to position him as the one who attempted murder on his own mother, then the reason you lied to us becomes clear. Okay, so I know that like I complimented like the writing and like everything and like the translation, but like now we're getting a little okay. We're missing some key words here that are kind of fucking up the sentences a little bit now and then. Now, right after I'm like, wait, little typos. You're like, wait, oh okay, we doubled word or like Madam Jacket. But like if we're to position him. Did they not? No proofreading? Okay, sure. All right. Okay, I volunteer as tribute to proofread all the games, but only if I can play them in advance. I'll do it for every freaking localization company. Like, I will proofread all your games. I will play them, I will record them, and I will write them down, and I will do this. I need to get paid a lot of money so I can quit my job, and this will be my job. Like, just like. Because you need better editing. Yeah. You tried to stamp out his involvement, even if it placed you in the line of suspicion. Have I got it? I mean, it's not even like punctuation if they forget a comma. I don't care about that. It's you're missing a word. You're missing an entire word. Or two. Like, wait. Sophia, please. Please tell me you aren't still intimate with Ted. Is it true? I thought you parted ways when he left. Unfortunately for you, that didn't happen. We're still very much in love. The ease at which Sophia's tone shifted was unsettling. Her quiet despair was no more, with each new word sharp as a kitchen knife and darkly energized by a presence which felt long restrained. Sophia! If it weren't for you detectives and that mangy dog. Just kidding. She'd been boring a hole in the floor, but in another unsettling shift, she raised her head and extended her arm to me rapidly. If you hadn't come... Yeah! Like, what the fuck? I feel like this is okay to eek because she's a dainty lady. She shouldn't be like, fuck! Look out, Spacey! I couldn't react soon enough. I saw her palm outstretched before my face, blinked, and was pulled into the wild force of Sophia's grip. Her other hand held a fruit knife acquired from the kitchen. I admit it. You're right. I killed the master, and I tried to kill you! This is where Pendleton rushes in to save the day, because he's a fucking master. He's like a fucking ninja. Love him. I'd intended for you to die a gradual death, but you rushed your inheritance. Why? It would be yours no matter the time. Why go through proceedings with such urgency? Why, Sophia? Tell me why. Because you wouldn't accept our marriage. You rejected us, made to separate us. That was for your own good. I don't want to hear it. Once you're dead, we shall marry, and Ted will be flush with riches. All was going well till you two arrived and ruined our plans. Sophia screeched with a venom that plunged deeper with each syllable. The emotion at its core was all I could comprehend, for the cold touch of the knife pressed to my neck made it too difficult to concentrate on anything else. This is like the second time in a matter of a day, like literally yesterday and now today. Like, seriously? 2 days in a row, we spent the entire weekend with knives at our throat. I mean, now if you don't want this girl's blood on the floor, you're to get out of my way. I won't be arrested here. There's no running from this, Sophia. Scotland Yard has been alerted. It won't be long. Let her go. They cannot lay a hand on me if I have a hostage. I'll be going where Ted is waiting, and you can't stop me. I can't stay like this. I need to loosen her grip. I raced through the self-defense techniques I learned from Pendleton. Then Watson's frantic glance met mine. He's close enough. All will be well if I can escape. With all the strength I had, I dug the heel of my boot atop Sophia's. She let go. It would only be temporary, but that was all I needed. I shook free from her grasp and ran into freedom. See, sing, you know. Like, you gotta do the instep, elbow, into the knee, fist in the face, like whatever from Miss Congeniality. Anyway. No! Stay still! Watson twisted her arm upward. The knife clattered upon hitting the floor. A woman of Sophia's size would never be able to break free from Watson's strength. At last, relief came to me as it did us all. But relief was premature. Oh, it's Ted? Jesus, is this why you're so late to contact me? You're a pitiful excuse for a woman, Sophia. Why does... Okay, he's supposed to be adopted. He looks just like Madame Janet. Like, I don't know. Again, did I become pulled backwards into a foreign grip. A knife did not meet my neck this time, however, but a gun to the temple. Ted, why are you...
Why? You still not conned on, mother? I'm the one pulling the strings. And yes, all for the money.
Ted's smile grew more twisted. I was close enough to catch the haze of alcohol lining his breath. He's not smart. What's he gonna do? Shoot everyone and they go, they were all murdered. I don't know how that happened.
I never intended to have her help me. But then I had to botch pulling the fangs out of that damn snake.
His confession did little when the proofs were apparent, and his arm wrapped in a bandage was enough to award him guilt.
Can't very well do my dirty work with this now, can I?
And I would do it all again with pride. Anything to reach our happily ever after.
You made a plot to kill your parents and manipulate your lover into becoming a murderer for money? You're twisted. You're completely insane. Don't care much of what you think, detective. Just get on with it. Give me the woman.
Ted pressed the gun's trigger a hair. Ted pressed on the gun's trigger a hair to heighten his threat.
If you don't, Miss Assistant here won't see tomorrow. No one wishes for that now. Ugh.
I'd gone from imprisonment to freedom to imprisonment in short order, bound against my will by weapons both sharp and explosive in nature. My stomach could not take more of this. It was plummeting and rising to my throat at once. My circumstances were now Sophia's in that I could not wrestle free from a man's grip, and yet our captors made all the difference in our fear. I mustn't do anything reckless. But then, what is mindful against a gun? Watson could not have appeared more pained. With reluctance, he let Sophia go free. Oh, Ted, you don't know how I've missed you. Come, we must be quick with our escape. Sophia rushed to her lover's side. There was purity in her then, with eyes made moist as she waited to receive a reward for her complete devotion. An embrace? A kiss? To flee into the night to where they could love one another openly, and to where their titles were husband and wife?
Of course. I'll be getting out of here. But not you. You'll only leave once the yard has you in handcuffs.
Ah! A kick, then a fall. She dropped to her knees and curled her arms around her stomach in pain. You're joking. This is a lie. After all I've done? After all I've done for you?
After all you've done, yes. And I have more work for you. Spend your days in a cell for your man. The world will know you as a serial murderer after I put a bullet in every soul here. You truly are the worst excuse of a man. Say whatever you like. I know what I want, and I want booze. I want to gamble. I want whores.
Wow. They gave him such a well-rounded character. He is such a stereotype. Wow. You can't. Ted, why? Ted, how could you do this?
You might try to keep that mouth of yours shut, mother. I'm not above killing family first.
He had such a good life. The gun was now pointed directly at the madam.
For God's sake, just stop. That goes for you too. Don't you value your assistant's life? Damn it.
Watson's face contorted. He was lost. We could do what our captor wanted. Take his kicks, hear his abuse, and shut our mouths as he waved his weapon around us like a child's toy. We could obey and still end up dead. Okay, you know what? I take back everything I said about the translation. Like, okay, it's not the translation. The translation's good, and they did a fun job. But fucking A with the typos all of a sudden. Like, Jesus, stop letting Tim do the work. I had a blumness, but like, Jesus. Reason was giving way to panic. My heart thudded at a rate that cut my breath short. All for this moment. This moment when, at last, my sense of relief was true. It's fucking Pendleton, isn't it? It's fucking Pendleton, isn't it? I'm just gonna read it like Pendleton. I need it to be Pendleton. If it fucking is, I'm gonna literally fall off my bouncy ball. I'm literally gonna fall over. Anyway, I knew something was amiss upon that telephone call. You were ever the master at stirring up mischief, my lady. It's fucking a welcoming and familiar voice, though not even raised, had overtaken the room. I blinked. A bullet darted across the room, and Ted's gun fell to the floor. The clattering sound was drowned out by a string of obscene oaths from the man.
Who in God's name are you?
Guys, I love Pendleton so motherfucking hard. I can't even. I loved him from the very beginning, you know this. I was like, can we date our butler? He's fucking amazing. And he just gets more amazing as this game goes on. I think he is literally the best thing in this game. I cannot fucking handle Pendleton. I love him so much. Oh my god. My god, what are you like fucking like fucking James Bond over here? Like, what are you doing, Pendleton? Where the fuck did you come from? Like, this makes you want a butler, right? You're like, are butlers all this amazing? I feel like Japan and like the things they're doing with butlers is just making my expectations like way too unrealistic. Like Pendleton, Sebastian. You're like, I don't know. I mean that's like two, but it's like all I know. But I'm just saying my expectations are real high now. So anyway. Do pardon me if I sound curt, but I've no interest in humoring your questions presently. Are you hurt, my lady? Gah! Pendleton had no interest in letting the man sit comfortably either. He had little patience for anyone who thought to place me in harm's way. The butler swiftly approached. He presented a fist to the gut, then another, and another, till the gut was weakened with pain and the burly hand that held me loosened. Pendleton! All is well. Please step behind me where it's safe. Quickly now. I'd been freed. He guided me behind him, and I was all too happy to listen.
You damn... Don't move!
Ted attempted to climb to his feet, but was stopped by Watson slamming him back down. I believe I'm owed an explanation, my lady. I traveled to the Baker Street office where you claim to be working, but to my shock, there was no one inside. It was the landlady who informed me of a client's arrival earlier in the day. I come to this client's home to fetch you, and what should I find but you, held at gunpoint? I was certainly not prepared for this. Well, Pendleton had such an aura of intimidation that I could not respond. You might have been dead had I arrived minutes later. I hope you're prepared for a lengthy lecture for lying to me. I want to read the lecture, please. Please lecture me, Pendleton. Holy fucking shit. I need to be punished. I volunteer as tribute for punishment from Pendleton because I love him so hard. I didn't mean for all this.
Spacey, did he hurt you?
Watson left restraining Ted to Lot and hurried to care for me. Pendleton was no less livid with him than he was with me. Watson! Just how did you permit this to happen when you were right here with her? What made you think to put her in harm's way? There was a raging tremor, however small, to the butler's voice that was similar to a pot close to boiling over.
Sir, I'm...
He could not come up with a proper response before Scotland Yard barreled down the entrance.
You're under arrest. Don't try to resist. Let me go. I'm not being thrown into a
Goal cell? Jail cell? Jail cell? Is that how we spell it in jolly old England? Because I don't think so. Anyway. Jail cell? It's a jail cell, but anyway.
Save your energy. You're coming with us.
And then the menace was gone. This can't be! No! All I've done! And for what? Sophia! I've had enough! Clutched within the woman's white-knuckled fingers was the very knife she had previously held to my neck. Sophia! She now held it against her own. No! Don't do that! Stay away, my lady. I took the first step towards her before Pendleton forced me to stay behind him. I wish to die! There's no point in my going on!
Don't be a fool!
The knife's point drew closer to her throat. Closer. Stop! Again, the knife was dropped. Before she could harm herself, Watson seized her arm and effortlessly kept all resistance from her at bay. How dare you! Let me have it! Let me die!
That's not gonna happen. I won't forgive you for what you've done. Ever. But I can't sit and watch a person die if I can stop it. I don't have the stomach to see that happen.
This is to help you sleep at night.
Now twist my words. Whether you want to believe it, you're a good person. A bad one would have let me drink that poisoned soup with a smile, but you stopped me. You feared for a complete stranger.
How can you? How can you? His appeal left her without strength in her legs. She was, at last, tired.
Please don't take the easy way out of this. You can change.
As Scotland Yard went to escort Sophia out of the mansion, Madame Janet approached. Sophia, let me tell you how very sorry I am. For what? Why? My husband and I are the driving force behind your actions. We had every hope our son would mend his ways, but it wasn't meant to be. All we did brought you suffering. Sorry, and thank you. Madame Janet gently placed a hand on Sophia's shoulder. For all his flaws, he's still our son. Thank you for loving him. It was a huge mistake on her part to love him, though, but I mean, just, okay, sure. Madam, I hope you choose someone worthy of your love next time. Yeah, in jail. She did not say goodbye. The madam followed Sophia's last steps, observing her whimpering and sobbing until she was no longer to be seen. I must thank you both. You solved the mystery that plagued our household and more. I could not be more grateful for the work you've put in this case. The madam was sincere, which, I don't know why, it provided me no comfort. How could I, when this woman suffered all of this loss, all this heartbreak within a month's time? I have a final request. You're welcome to decline, of course, but might it be possible to learn your true names?
You knew.
When did you notice? I had a feeling something wasn't quite right from the start. You always had a stiffness about you when addressing one another.
I hope it caused you no distress. Our intention was never to deceive you.
The two of us went straight into a string of apologies, churning them out one after another as though we couldn't get them out fast enough. Oh, you needn't prepare all this fuss. I should simply like to know your names after all you've done. I'll never forget the heart with which you approached this case.
My name is William H. Watson. In truth, I'm Holmes's assistant.
Well, you do fit all I've heard about you. As strong in body as you are in heart. And you, Miss Watson. If this young man is he, then who are you? I'm Spacey Whitley, Madam Janet. Miss Whitley, is it? Thank you ever so much. Mr. Watson has been very blessed to have you as an assistant.
I have. She's more than I deserve, really.
Oh, Watson. He laughed in a weak, sheepish manner, and it spread to me. A small chuckle turned into a series of chuckles between us. Our work was done. The culprit had been caught, and we could finally laugh at our poor performances as Mr. Holmes and Miss Watson. I gotta be honest, I ship her with Watson the most. Like, I loved all the other, like, I'm sorry, I like Jack. And I fucking love Lupin. And I like Holmes. And I do like Watson in this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I have, like, a least favorite. I think I like them all equally so far. Like, they've all been pretty great. But I see her character, just her, with Watson the most out of any of them. Like, I just don't see her with, like, Holmes because he's so, like, God, you're an idiot. And, like, Watson's so jovial and kind and sweet. And she's, like, sugary sweet. So I can see them working out. But I really just don't see her with, like, a murderer or a thief. And, like, we haven't met Akechi yet, but, like... And I really just see her with Watson the most out of all of them, but... I saw Watson back to his flat before returning to the mansion with Pendleton. My lady, I dearly hope you will pardon the many things I wish to ask regarding today's events. Consider them pardoned. First, no, I've changed my mind. That you weren't injured and Watson's desperate apologies in the carriage are enough to spare you a lecture this evening. I will let you off easy. You're not to step outside this mansion for anything other than lessons for 1 week, during which you will be occupied with a series of special tasks provided by me. What? Pendleton poured me a cup of tea. As always, both man and drink were perfection. I know he is perfection. I fucking love him. I accepted my tea with grace as I waited for him to elaborate. If you're curious, the special tasks to which I refer will involve everything you need to learn on behavior befitting that of an upper-class woman. And no effort will be spared to that end. Are you prepared? As much as I shall ever be. I knew that delight in his voice so well but my mind wandered back to my actions. Through my fun, my lies, through the best and the worst of the day, I had been a child. I'm so sorry, Pendleton. You understand your actions. That is enough for me. Here. I took a sip from a newly poured cup of tea. It's unimaginable to me how love can become so destructive. That love could be so dark brought to mind the case with Elisa. Because I was the one who was seeing him first. I never thought a friend of mine would take him away from me. I loved him. I couldn't understand why he chose Angie over me. I can't stand how much regret I feel for introducing him to her. Love is a pure, well-meant emotion, but such purity can topple with a single misstep. Once you've fallen, it becomes difficult to stand up again. The stronger your love, the harder the fall. It breaks my heart to know this, that love and compassion, such wonderful things, can transform into evil. I'll never let my feelings stray from the right path. I swear it. I don't know what's going to happen. Sorry. Jeez, anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never let I mean, we're gonna fall in love with Lupin and a Jack. We can't do them first, but I believe you. Through whatever challenges you face, you will persevere. But for now, you need only to enjoy your tea and indulge in a good night's sleep. Thank you. I will. When East comes west, this is when we meet Akechi, I'm pretty sure. I was reading the titles of the chapters, and I was like, okay, so this was like the folly of whatever the hell the chapter was. I forget what it was. I was like, okay, so it's a Watson chapter. We know the Jack the Ripper one was a Jack and the Lupin, and we haven't met Akechi yet, but he's also supposed to be from like a foreign country or whatever. Like he's supposed to be from some Asian country, I think. So, um, so he's like a foreign exchange student, I think. So this makes sense, There was a distinct chill in the air this morning, and the clouds, rather than lazily float about, were darting across the sky at a rapturous pace. The cold wind served as a sign that we were delving further into autumn. Wasn't it just spring? No. And do you have your ring with you, my lady? Of course I do, Pendleton. And you have your handkerchief as well, I assume? Not to worry, it's right here. I'd also ask that you take this water with you. I pray this is enough to last you the day. Thank you. And do not expect the treats I'm sending with you this time to become routine. The Port of London is one of the most lively, prosperous regions of the country. I'm certain it will be a most educational and rewarding experience for your school trip. However, Pendleton shot a warning glare in my direction. For exactly the same reasons, you must be exceptionally careful at all times. And just the thought that you might end up whisked away by high waves or find yourself on a suspicious ship destined for heaven knows where is enough to... Oh no, just look at the time. I really must be going right away. I love him so fucking much. God, I love him. Have I mentioned that I love him? Aside from just now and 700 other times. God. Then let us be off at once. After escaping Pendleton's lecture, I climbed into the carriage and we set off for the port. The area where we were headed, Port of London, as Pendleton mentioned, was an area slightly east of the city, facing onto the sea. Despite the name, it isn't simply a place that ships go in and out of whole time. Large ships are also built there, and it's filled with rows upon rows of red brick warehouses. Beautiful white beaches that glisten... Oh. Fuck the sneezing. Beautiful white beaches that glisten in the sunlight, and peaceful waves that calm your heart. I rarely had the chance to visit the sea. I've been looking forward to this day for some time, building up a pristine image of what this particular one might be like based on the books I had read. To my woes, reality desired to not be quite so pristine. Are you sure you're all right, Spacey? I can handle myself, Watson. Promise. You needn't keep asking. If you insist. You weren't the only one who fell, if it helps. Lupin had a spectacular fall earlier. It would help more if we moved on from what happened.
If you feel as though you're gonna fall again, because of the wind, grab hold of me or someone else, alright?
I will, thank you. I wasn't expecting the wind here to be so strong. Goodness, but it knocked you over? What is wrong with you? Everyone else is like, what? She's like, ah! It's like, and Pendleton calls you fat, honey, but you blew the fuck away. You point that out to him. I strongly advise you to go home and be like, Pendleton, just FYI, I am not too chubby because I blew away in the wind. I'm too skinny. More snacks. Anyway.
Listen in class. As I'm sure you've noticed, the sea is so terribly unsettled today that not even sailors can bring themselves to sing their merry songs.
Mr. Mackenzie howled over the wind as best he could, seemingly in a state where he could be easily carried off by the weather at any moment. Why the fuck would you go in the middle of, like, autumn where it's cold and it's on the sea and it's even windier? Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you people?
I want you to take great care not to be dragged into the sea. Just as well, I'd prefer if you not fall into this here gutter. It has sewage flowing through it, so it would not end well.
Mr. Mackenzie, Lupin has gone crashing to the ground in a poor effort to avoid his spectacles being blown off. Would it be alright if I were to lend him a hand?
Of course. Please do, Holmes.
As Holmes helped Lupin back to his feet, another strong gust threatened the class. Shit, let the wind take me. Not a second time. So I declared heartily within, but to see how even large objects caved to the wind frightened me. And what of that awful gutter? I could fall in and never be heard from again. Also, you come out smelling like poo.
Whoa!
I lost my balance, but with Watson supporting me, I was able to at least avoid falling to the ground. Thank you, Watson.
It's no trouble. Keep a tight hold of me, alright?
I will. I still felt a bit unsteady on my feet, and before I knew it, I was clinging to Watson's arm with a strength I never knew I had. I do apologize for this, Watson. I declared I could handle myself, but here I am. He's so fucking adorable.
No, nonsense, Spacey. You're smaller and lighter than me. I should say it's smart for you to be anxious. You have nothing to fear so long as you're with me. I'll support you.
That's very sweet of you, Watson. The wind was continuing to rap upon us with all the ferocity of a hurricane. Of course, if you think about it, as a girl, you're wearing floofy dresses, and your skirts is like, oh my god, her skirts are like around her head. She's like a fucking upside down umbrella. Of course she's going to tumble into the wind. Hold on. The wind was continuing to rap upon us with all the ferocity of a hurricane. Yet to see the assistant's smile brought to me a second wind of a relaxation. A moment, Holmes. Yes, Miss Marple. You look less than pleased. I might suggest that you put your man on a lead. I don't understand. Has Watson done something untoward? Indeed he has. Do you see the way he behaves like his actions are for Spacey's benefit? He is being too bold. His back brings to mind watching a big, excitable dog wagging its tail. As she clings to him, and he makes no effort to hide being charmed. It's an utter lack of discipline on your part. I take it you bringing this up means you are envious. Who knows? I'm certainly not happy about it. In due time, the weather made to ease itself, and I was finally able to stand without assistance. Thank you again, Watson. I'm so glad you were there for me.
You don't need to thank me. I was just, I was happy to have you rely on me.
Pardon?
Never mind.
All of us students having calmed down, Mr. Mackenzie once more opened his mouth to speak.
Now, the Port of London has a large number of ships from abroad docked in it. Most ships come here legally, but there are some that come here smuggling such goods as illegal drugs and expensive tea. In recent years, there have been cases of not only illegal substances being smuggled into the country, but people as well. It's become quite the
Sir, Jack appears to have wandered off in the direction of that steamship. Does he have permission to do that? Lupin was right. Jack's eyes were fascinatedly fixed on a ship rocking in the waters, and somewhat stealthily, had slowly edged himself closer to it. It's massive.
Well, wait right where you are, Mr. Millers. Everyone needs to stay together on class trips. You mustn't go wandering off on your own. Please!
As we walked from the harbor towards the warehouses, a certain ship had caught my eye also. I wonder what kind that one is. In amongst all the other ships docked in the bay was one that appeared unusually worn.
Is something the matter, Miss Whitley? Why have you stopped walking?
It strikes me as suspicious. That couldn't be one of the smuggling ships Mr. Mackenzie mentioned, could it?
Wait, Spacey, where are you going? Stupid! God help me, she's hopeless. Come, Watson, we're going after her. God help me!
I love Holmes. God help me, she's hopeless, but you love me. You're going to be in love with me so hard.
Right.
If you're not back within 10 minutes, I'll let Mr. Mackenzie know the situation.
Not to worry. We'll be back well before then.
No, we won't. I'll believe that when I see it. I would be quite astonished if you returned with her before those 10 minutes are up.
Holmes is like, challenge accepted.
Having approached the suspicious ship as close as I felt comfortable, I then hid out of the way and surveyed it from afar. People were disembarking in large numbers before my eyes, carrying goods off the ship with them. What worried me was that the number of them didn't seem to be in very good health, as if they barely had the energy to spare. They were collapsing or sitting on the ground as soon as they reached dry land. I feel like I should be calling a doctor more than Scotland Yard. Where on earth could the ship be from? So many of them have black hair. My mind was churning as I observed. It's obviously like we're trying to get this. But here's the thing. So we're about to meet. Let me bring up the thing. I love that. But Akechi has like gray fucking hair. Like his hair is like literally like a white blonde color. Anyway, I was startled by two faces popping before me. Their appearance was so unexpected that I hadn't much time to react with anything more than a pitiful cry. So yes. He's so precious.
Who is she? She seems to have been watching us. It looks like an...
Oh. I don't know. I'm assuming that's supposed to be Akechi talking. I don't know. I'm just going to read it normal until we figure out who the fuck is who. Like, we can give him the cute little kid voice, but we gotta wait. It looks like an ordinary girl to me. Well, ordinary as far as here, I'm sure. Never seen a real blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauty in my life. I have no idea what they're saying. What language is that? Before me was a petite boy with chestnut hair, staring at me with eyes as generously large as his chin. Next to him stood a slender, silver-haired boy. See, I told you. It was like a blondish gray color. Wearing spectacles. He's got glasses, so we love him. Far from the gaiety of his partner, he gave me the immediate impression of being a cautious sort. And whatever language they were speaking, I wasn't familiar with a single word of it. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, yes, but I think it premature to be declaring her a beauty. Hey, which one of you is being an asshole? So you say, but I wager you thought she's a fine sight for sore eyes the second you spotted her. Okay. I'm assuming the kid was the excitable one, and I'm assuming Akechi is this one. So, anyway. If you think such a mundane idea would even cross my mind with circumstances as they are, then you don't know me very well. What could they be talking about? They could be talking about how to get rid of me now that I've witnessed them sneaking into the country. Could they? Oh, they couldn't be. Okay. To add fuel to the fire my worries, the silver-haired one had a foreign weapon at his waist. Is it a sword? Because, I'm just saying. Was I to be on the receiving end of that? To suspect this alone made me gulp. You should know what one is all I'm saying. I wonder... Okay, is it supposed to be the kid? Hi there! Are you alright? You look as white as a sheet. Oh? Well, that I understood well enough. What a shock. You know English? Sure do. I can hold a conversation as well as the next. Yeah, okay, so this is a kid. Did you see that? She understood me! She understood me, Ken-chan! I did, yes. More importantly, how many more times must I tell you to stop calling me Ken-chan before you understand that? Ken-chan? Yeah. There isn't a soul alive who would treat me with the proper respect upon hearing the juvenile nickname. And that will not do. Start calling me Akechi immediately. Oops, sorry, Akechi. Old habits die hard. I'll expect you to rein in those habits with more care in the future. So, who might you be? Oh. The silver-haired boy began speaking in equally fluent English, surprising me yet again. Have you some business with our ship or someone on it? We could hardly help but notice you've been watching it for a time now. Well, if I lie here and they notice, they'll surely waste no time tossing me into the sea. No, no, anything but the sea. All those fish could eat me, and the sewage. I can't bear to think of the gutter at a time like this. Unless there be any misunderstanding, I would note we've arrived here legally after fulfilling all conditions required under the law. Will you stop staring at us as though we were criminals? So you are, allowed to be here? Oh my god, she should have been like, I was just really curious about your ship. Like, sorry. Like, this, I came to realize immediately, was an incorrect way to word my concern. I'm not really sure that I can't quite get the voice for him yet, so we'll figure it out. I feel like he's more the... Like, he can't be as quite as, like, whatever as Holmes, but I feel like he would have a quieter voice, but not quite as, oh god, like, oh, Lupin, oh, you know, but I can't quite, we gotta get him, he's, yeah. See, but I also feel like he's got the little bit of dickish in him that Holmes might have at first, you know what I'm saying? So, but we gotta figure it out. I gotta work on it. But we can't give him like a fucking Irish accent or something, because he's not. And I am not even going to attempt. I mean, I am not attempting like fucking Japanese accent or something, because that's just gonna sound fucking terrible. I'm not even. So, plus, perfectly fluent English, so he's probably doesn't have one, where the rest of us sound like assholes when we try to speak a foreign language. But anyway, this I came to realize immediately was an incorrect way to word my concern. Of course we are. Your country opened its doors to us. What a lousy thing to say to someone you just met. I hope all English people aren't as rude as you. English? Be calm, Kobayashi. But it's rude, Kenchan. No buts. And need I remind you that I told you to call me by my proper name? This is the reality of being Japanese in the modern world. As long as we're in this country, we must know our place. Japanese must mean you're from Japan, I think. Oh my god. Oh, dear god. I get it's a different time, but like, Japanese must mean you're from France? What the fuck? Oh! Now that I was able to calm down and think properly, I recalled there being a country in the Far East that commonly referred to England as English. Isn't Japan a faraway island? And they came all that way on a boat? What were they going to do, fly on a plane? I don't think you have planes yet. One more quick glance at their faces, and the idea was plausible enough. Their every feature was racked with exhaustion. I can only imagine the hardships they must have endured to make it here. And to think I asked them if they were allowed! Allowed! I assumed them to be criminals as soon as they hit dry land. The guilt was building the further my thoughts went. I'm terribly sorry. I should never have said it. Oh, it was awful of me. Yeah, white girl, Jesus. You're making us all look bad. I just received a lesson on smugglers and those entering the country illegally. I let my imagination run wild, I suppose. A lesson? Are you a student? Yes, I am. Huh, he's all shocked. Like, what the fuck? A woman and a student. Then you must be of noble birth, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's right. My name is Spacey Whitley. It's a pleasure to meet you. Okay, so she ran off, and they went to follow her, and all of this has happened before they came. Like, they are the slowest fucking walkers, Holmes and Watson. Like, the slowest. It wouldn't have been more than like a minute or two before they caught up with us, and then none of it while we were hiding. I mean, I raised the edges of my skirt slightly and presented my most refined curtsy. Wow! So this is how they greet each other in the West? It's so elegant. Why, thank you. He's like, what the fuck? I love how he's always constantly pushing up his glasses. Unlike his smaller companion, the bespectacled boy continued staring in silence. The bespectacled boy? Is he going to be our bastard bespectacled boyfriend? Yes. I've perhaps not done something more to insult you, have I? No, not at all. I don't mind him. He's struck dumb by how pretty you are. That's enough from you. Still, you've given your name. It's only proper we give ours. Kenichiro. I am Kenichiro Akechi, and the noisy one with me is Seiji Kobayashi. Well then, Kobayashi and Kenchan, it's lovely to meet you. He's like, don't fucking call me that. That's us. Good to meet you. I believe I introduced myself with my full name. How did you pick that up? I don't recall using it. Was that not it? I thought I heard the word being repeated towards you earlier. Ahem. Be that as it may, I would rather you call me by my surname, Akechi. Oh, is there a special reason, perhaps? Well, that's because over in Japan, using someone's first name means you're very close with one another. He'll go beat red in the face if he hears his name coming from a girl. Fucking love. He is so much fun. He's like a little mini Watson, but like amped up. Like he's got way more like cocaine in his blood than like Watson's the adorable older puppy. You're like, you're so cute. He's like a cute dog, and he is like the hyperactive little chihuahua. Like, ah! I love him. He's adorable. Stop making up falsehoods. I simply want to be treated with respect by those around me. Akechi wasted no time in rejecting Kobayashi's theory. I gotta say, English is so progressive. It never occurred to me that women would be studying alongside men here. Does everyone study together? Yes, I suppose we do. I'm a student in the detectives course at Harrington Academy, and there are both boys and girls. You lot, out of our way! What's happened? Run! Scotland Yard will be here any minute! Leave the goods! We need to save our own asses! A large group of men began piling off the ship next to Akechi and Kobayashi's, each of their faces filled with desperation. I thought as much. And there's something to be said for English's police force to be this widely feared. What? Ah! I jumped in surprise at the yelp from beside me. Damn it all, out of our way! Now! The men continued scrambling away from their ship, kicking cargo haphazardly out of their way as they did. That wasn't the only thing they were kicking away to and fro. The foreigners from other ships were giving the same exact treatment if they happened to be in their path. What do you think you're doing? What sort of men attack people who don't have the strength to fight back? You cowards! Kobayashi, think before you act. Seeing as he clearly wasn't the type to do just that, he also didn't seem the type to listen, and I was right. He sprinted right out in front of the men, refusing to let them pass. Stand aside, brat, unless you want to end up swimming with the fishes. Try it if you dare, but you'll be the ones taking a swim. His words were menacing, but the size difference between the petite boy and the Englishman was readily apparent. They looked like they could knock him aside with ease. I don't know if there's anything I can do. At this rate, he'll... I suppose I'll need to step in. Oh my god, he's going to be glorious, isn't he? Akechi grasped the weapon at his waist. Stay here, miss. Akechi! He ignored me and followed Kobayashi's footsteps, jumping before the men. He's got a slingshot! Yes, he is glorious. But he's got a fucking slingshot! What the fuck? Oh god, this game is good. While we stare at this, I should read his profile. An exchange student and a brilliant detective in his own right, even if he has yet to reach the same level, same heights as Holmes Jr. Though he's strict towards others, he is no less strict towards himself, immediately taking up the position of class representative to further his studies whilst keeping a watchful eye over his schoolmates' behavior. To strive for betterment in both body and mind is the ultimate goal for him, yet he has still lived a sheltered life, having had no significant experience with women, and as such is oftentimes at a loss when interacting with them. Well, yeah, because they're like, and we can go to Kobayashi because we have a little thing about him too. A government-sponsored exchange student and assistant to Akechi, Kobayashi's a doer before he is a thinker, though this does not mean he's lacking academically. He is fascinated by the endless wonders of London, studying its technology and culture with a hungry energy. Thankfully, his friendly nature allows him to adapt well to any situation this new world presents him. As his name implies, he is connected to certain well-known boy detective. Really? I don't know that story. We never read Pendleton. Lady Whitley's loyal butler guards and attends to her every need at the behest of her deceased parents. He preys on his master's naivety with frequent teasing and exaggerated scenarios of horror, but his desire to protect her is sincere due to something that happened in the past. I got Pendleton's still my favorite character in this. Anyway,
Sorry, Akechi, but you'll have to save the lecture for another time.
Two of them stood with their backs to one another. In Akechi's hand was his sword, whilst Kobayashi wielded a slingshot.
I got no idea how much suffering we've endured to get here.
That still isn't a good enough reason to lash out at them.
Aren't you frustrated to have this happen first thing?
If I weren't, would I be standing here with you? Akechi initially carried a look of resignation, but after adjusting his spectacles, his gaze sharpened. He returned his hand to his sword. You're to assist me, Kobayashi.
Got it.
You'll be crying to your bleeding mummies after we finished with you. The men raised their knives and charged at the boys. They were hoping for a swift defeat before fleeing. You brought a knife to a sword fight? I mean, I understand the knife and the slingshot fight makes you feel like you're going to win, because I would also agree with you that I feel like, slingshot's going to hurt when that thing pokes you in the eye, but, a sword? You'll be the ones crying when we've routed the lot of you. Oh, wait, that was Kobayashi.
You'll be the ones crying when we've routed the lot of you.
I'll leave those I don't manage to defeat to you.
That suits me.
They then shot into motion. Akechi's blade cleaved in a sideways arc before him.
Gah!
The smugglers fell to the ground one by one. Each of their faces were etched with disbelief. What did I just see? Akechi's counterattack was so swift, I had to strain my eyes to convince myself of what was happening. He waited for his opponent to attack, and just before they could, he was right before them and ready to strike. Seizing the opportunity, the hilt of his blade would make contact with their abdomen, the back of their neck, or other similarly exposed parts. By the time his blows had connected with his opponent, he was ready for the next. His movements were simply too fast for any of the smugglers to keep up with. My, this is more akin to dancing than fighting. Even standing a fair distance away and having a clear view of the action, I could only just avoid losing sight of him. His attack struck with such force that the majority fell to their knees in agony, rendered unable to move. There were a few who endured the pain for long enough to rise to their feet, but they were not prepared for this.
Damn you! I wish we could make this easier on you. Oh, we ate all the beans and seeds we had during the trip here. You'll have to make do being pelted with stones.
These men, too, were quickly sent flying back to the ground by Kobayashi's slingshot. It's got to be amazing if you take a man down with a slingshot. In the eye, yeah, it would hurt. But together, the two of them made a perfect team, with Akechi serving as the vanguard and Kobayashi assisting him. It took little time between them for all of the smugglers to be at their complete mercy.
But bloody hell, who are you?
We have no names to give to the likes of you. Akechi gently slid his weapon back into its sheath. His stance was so elegant that he would have looked out of place at a high-class social gathering. I'm stunned. He would have? Oh, he wouldn't have. Okay. I was like, wait, what? That's what I thought it should say, but I read it wrong. Okay. I'm stunned. They fought so many men without any outside help. Effortlessly at that.
We did it, Akechi!
Kobayashi ran joyously over towards Akechi, and with apt timing, more were to join us in our celebration. Miss Woodley. Two of my schoolmates arrived to see to it that I was well. Again, it took you 10 minutes to get to me. Holmes, Watson! Truly, you are a marvel. Did Mr. Mackenzie not warn us against wandering off alone? I fear your brain will be the one puzzle I'll never be able to solve. Not that I want to. I hope you two haven't fretted too much over me. You've not been searching for me all this time, have you? Really, I didn't intend for there to be so much fuss. Oh, because they couldn't find her. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, there was no fussing at all, I assure you. Your actions are always so unpredictable. They inspire incredulousness more than worry.
There's no need to hide your relief. Just say you fussed plenty. You were worried she'd become caught in something after all Mr. Mackenzie said earlier. I certainly was.
Bah. Speaking of which, what's all this about? Holmes's eyes were focused on the veritable sea of collapsed smugglers. A large group of smugglers were trying to flee when two boys from Japan to the east decided to stop them. I like how you had to point that Japan was to the east so that Holmes would know where it is. I'm sure he fucking knows where it is. They routed them all like it was no trouble at all. It was a spectacular sight.
Routed?
It means that they were overwhelmingly bested, Watson. We must help them retrieve the cargo that fell into the sea as thanks.
Wait, why? We've only just arrived.
But we shan't turn our backs on people in need,
Ugh. We're in for the lecture of the century from Mr. Mackenzie when we get back. Still, I can't say I disagree. Let's get helping. I see a few injured people over there. I'll ask if there's anything I can do for them.
I don't have a choice in this, do I? Thank you, dears! I'm going to wrap this part up here. So, this is great. I love this game. I do. I mean, I love Pendleton so much. Anyway, we'll continue more and get to know more of Akechi, I'm sure, as we go through in this chapter. So, probably in the next part. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.